What's going on YouTube? 008 here. I'm here with my fiance Carla. Show him the ring.
No.
Show him the ring! She got the ring on. I put a ring on it. Yes.
If you like it, then you should put a ring.
I'm glad I did it on this video. Most people don't watch my reviews, so not many people see it, so that's all good then. So anyway.
Dickhead.
I'm just joking. I'm going to be saying fiance in all our reactions from now on, so everyone's going to know. But anyway, we are here to review Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Every night, I dream the same dream. Strange!
What did you think of the film? Good? Bad?
Overall, I'd give it a solid 5.5 out of 10.
Review done. Thank you for watching.
Bye!
Bye.
No, I'm going to start overall. I give it a 5.5 out of 10. But
yeah, her ratings are really harsh.
I'm very critical of
like
films.
she'll give Shawshank Redemption like a 7 and that.
No, I won't. No, I won't. That gets like a 9.5 from me, but that is one of the best films of all time.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Your rating's probably actually more realistic, I guess, when you base it on like.
I think 5.5 is good.
Yeah, I guess when you weigh it from all the films that exist in the world, I guess, yeah.
I think 6 then. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
6. I think probably 8. I'll give it, or 8.5.
8 out of 10.
I enjoyed it. I really liked it.
8.5.
Yeah, I really
that
liked it.
means they needed to do 1.5% more to get a 10.
See, her ratings are more realistic. It's just we get excited when you first come out at the cinema. You just, I'll give that a 9.
No, even though I gave it a 5.5, I still really, really, really liked the film. I liked that it was really dark.
Yeah. Sam Raimi came in.
Yeah, and in some parts it almost felt a bit horror, but like old school horror. And I said this to you when we left the cinema. Who was the director and how old is he? Because it felt really old school horror. It didn't feel like new school horror.
90s.
And then when we got home
80s.
and I googled him and I found out what he did, like The Evil Dead, I could see that in like looking back. I'm like, oh, that's why it's got that really old school horror film.
It's brave Marvel actually went with the horror element.
I really enjoyed that bit of it.
It's
that
definitely
was
the darkest Marvel
probably
film.
my favourite bit.
Yeah, that really made everything seem more impactful as well. Like I was like, oh, I can't believe Wanda's doing all this shit. What? Oh yeah, spoilers by the way. It's gonna be all spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, I can't believe Wanda's doing this shit. I wasn't expecting her to be the main bad guy. I thought it was gonna be like you don't know who it is or something. I thought she was gonna do some dodgy stuff. And there was going to be a bad version of her, but I didn't know R1 was going to be the bad version.
So I didn't know anything about this, and before we went into the cinema, I said to him, "Oh, she's not even going to be in it that much. Like she's probably going to be in it for 5 minutes."
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be his film with her like having little like dips in and out.
Little
I
action
didn't
moments,
actually
helping
think
him
that
out,
she
being a
was going to
sidekick.
be like the main bad guy. But when I say it's dark, they didn't make the characters dark. They made like the whole thing dark. Does that make sense?
The whole feeling of it was dark. Like from the point where Doctor Strange himself was like using a dead body to bring, to as an avatar to fight Wanda and everything, and that was like, oh shit, they're bringing out dead bodies and that. But I think maybe it got too dark because you were complaining about the makeup looked a bit weird later on.
In some shots, the makeup looked really, really good.
But when he first came from the
when he first was
he
erected
looked like
from the
pure zombie, like
that
Dead
bit
Levels
was
makeup.
that bit was really, really good. I think the lighting helped because it was like quite creepy lighting. The music helped and everything. But some shots, the makeup looked really, really good, and then other shots, it got a little bit like. Have you ever seen the film Hocus Pocus?
No.
You've never seen Hocus Pocus?
I think you might show it to me. I don't know.
There's a bit in Hocus Pocus where this zombie comes out of the grave and his name's Billy, and the makeup reminded me of that a little bit, like Disney for young kids.
Young kids, so it's not too creepy, not too freaky.
But when he very, very first came out of the grave, it was like, this is really creepy, this is really dark.
I feel like this is the first time where Marvel's actually made you feel like, right, you got to watch the Disney Plus show. You got to watch WandaVision. If you didn't watch WandaVision, you would know what's going on, kind of, but you'd be like, why is Wanda doing all this? Like, where do these kids come from? Like
For
WandaVision definitely elevates this movie
and that's
a lot.
very clever on their behalf because it gets them more
they realise, okay,
interest, more views, more.
Because it could go two ways. It could go two ways. It could be like, oh, we don't want people to have to watch the shows to get the movies, but then they won't watch the shows, so they should get. They want to connect them to the shows, so then people watch the shows as well. So yeah, it's really clever actually. Yeah. And it really helped. But yeah, the action scenes were amazing. I loved how you just see Wanda's powers like just crazy, like the way she just devastates everyone. Like when they went to the Carmitage, I think, training or school or whatever it is, the wizard school, and they're just messing. She was just killing people like left and right, like brutally as well. Yeah, and it was just mad. And yeah, man, you really felt like this is a really good villain. And some people were saying that she was overshadowing Doctor Strange in his own movie, but she's the villain. Do you know what I mean? Like that's good. You want good, like the Joker. You know, Heath Ledger did that with. That's why Dark Knight was so good. You know. Yeah. And Thanos obviously overshadowing the Avengers and Avengers Infinity War and stuff like that. They should have done it in Endgame as well, but they didn't show him enough because they killed him off at the start. But yeah, like it was good, and that she was had this presence, you know. The way she just took out all the Illuminati, like they made them this all these powerful heroes. Professor X, we've got to talk about that properly in a minute. Yeah, and Mr. Fantastic, and you had like Captain Marvel and Captain Carter and all that, and she just takes them out quick, like that was just nuts.
Like it was also about like Next,
you know,
like someone scanning your shopping at Tesco's Next. Like, they made her so powerful, but I really like it when movies do this, when you kind of root for the bad guy, because it puts you in like a conflict. Like, even though what she's doing is really bad, there's something still so likable about her.
Because
you've grown to love her.
You've grown to love her. You've watched her grow from like Age of Ultron all the way till now, and especially with WandaVision and everything.
When a movie makes you question your own, like, should I be rooting for her? Should I be... Like, you know, in a way you should hate her, like, for what she's doing, but...
Oh, you definitely don't hate her.
But you don't hate her, and in a way you're kind of like, yeah, you go, girl, but but then you feel really fucked up for thinking that,
exactly.
like, oh, shit, like, I shouldn't be thinking that, but I love it when movies do that, because it plays with your, like, moral compass.
Yeah.
But they don't do it in a way where she's explicitly evil. They make you, like, start to question your own morals, like,
I said to you, without Wanda in this film, it wouldn't have been as good.
It would just be another Marvel movie.
Yeah, because we've grown. Like this is what happens when you have loads of character development. Obviously, it's a little bit cheating with Marvel because they've had so much previous movies and TV shows and stuff to build it up. But yeah, when you've had this much growth of a character, you appreciate all the stuff they're doing in the current film, you know, and it makes it so much more impactful with all the stuff they're doing. And what did you think of like America Chavez, and she's a new character? And obviously Christine and some of the other side characters. Wong.
I didn't really care for them very much.
Really?
Because I think, obviously Elizabeth Olsen and Benedict Cumberbatch, they just overshadow everyone because they have this massive presence.
They're really good actors.
They're really good actors. So when they're on screen, you kind of sort of forget about everyone else. But I didn't dislike them. I didn't.
I thought they served their purpose.
Yeah,
like,
they were there
especially
to assist.
America Chavez. Like,
they were there to assist the main characters. Basically,
she didn't get much like role like in terms of her story and her backstory, but it's not her movie. But like what she was there to do was good, and it was good that they didn't. Some people I've heard they didn't like that the ending was just. She didn't really do much in the end to use her powers, but I think what she did was perfect. Like punch Wanda or whatever she did into her children, so they can see how much of a monster she is, to stop her from doing all the evil shit she's doing. And like it's perfect. It's the perfect ending because everybody always complains that all these superhero films end with a big laser shooting up in the sky and like the sky opening up. And there's all these, lasers and bad guys flying around, hitting each other. Like basically the first Avengers movie ending, but they keep repeating that, don't they? But this one was very more like internalized, emotional character development ending, where the villain realized, oh shit, the thing I'm fighting for hates me, Yeah. And she just like stops it herself because no one else could stop it.
Which is more powerful.
Yeah.
It's that realization of, oh my gosh, like what have I become? Like this isn't.
Because she didn't care about anyone but her kids, and her
Yeah.
kids were showing her like, we don't care about you right now.
Yeah.
You're freaking us the fuck out.
Literally, get away from us, Mom.
Yeah.
I would have been really cross if they made that girl stronger than Wanda.
Yeah.
Like when I was watching the film, I was like, they're not gonna make.
Yeah,
her
I
more
thought they were gonna make
powerful,
her
are
them
they?
two fight, and she was gonna destroy Wanda. I was like,
thought
no.
that's like a very Marvel thing to do.
Yeah.
But the fact that they just did it, like, okay, she's got powers, but she's not as powerful as Wanda, but she assisted in the situation.
Yeah.
But at first I was watching, I was thinking, oh
Yeah,
god, they're
thank
not going to
God they
make her
didn't
beat
do
the
that.
shit out of her, are they? Because that's just not going to...
Marvel really surprised me with not bringing a new character, and because they're new, they have to like elevate them to the same level as the established characters.
And
very
that's
quickly.
what they did with Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
they just just brought her in with this present straight away, and everyone was like,
kicking ass, like,
where's she come from? We don't know anything about her. We haven't grown to love this character.
But she's better than
you haven't
everybody
built
else,
a relationship
you know?
with us, with her. So, and I thought they were going to do exactly the same thing, and I was like, oh no.
I mean, you're allowed to bring in a new character that's stronger than everyone else.
Well, they did with Thanos, didn't they?
Yeah, or like a hero character. You're allowed to do that because that happens sometimes where they're like, oh my god, this god character came out of nowhere and is helping us. But you kind of have to make them likable, and you can't make them like overshadow everybody. And you know, like they got to kind of serve their purpose. Where Captain Marvel felt like they were trying to make her part of the team. Like as if she's been there for ages. You know?
As if she's an Avenger now.
Yeah.
I do think she'll probably end up with her own film at some point.
America
and
Chavez.
and they'll probably explore it a lot more.
Yeah.
But it was just what we've seen of her was good, you know.
Yeah.
And because I don't know how old the actress is, but to come into something like that and then act like in a scene with someone like Benedict Cumberbatch, that's a big thing to take on. So she did really well with that. I don't know how old she is. She just knew what she was doing, which was really good.
I think a lot of the visuals in the film were really good as well. Like, you know, the way they depicted the powers.
Like she comes in wearing jeans and a t-shirt, for Christ's sake. Do you know what I mean? Like she doesn't need any armor. She doesn't need a shield. She doesn't need whatever little things that these people have got to assist them. She comes in her jeans and a t-shirt with bloody stuff running down her face, and she's just kicking everyone's butts. It just shows that it's just effortless for her. It just looks complete. Her powers just looked like completely effortless. And she's doing that whilst astroplaning. That's not even her doing it. She's doing that through her self.
Through her other you talking about Wanda?
Wanda. Yeah, she just comes in a jeans and t-shirt, you know, whilst everyone else has got their armour, their shields, they're ready to go. You know what I mean?
And she's still kicking ass.
And she's just making it look like...
She wasn't even there, really.
That's what I mean.
There was one thing people were super excited about, the cameos, the Illuminati. I know you didn't know much about them. They thought we might see a different version of Black Panther. People thought we might see a different version of Tony Stark, Iron Man. And there was so much speculation. We knew we were going to see Professor X because you could hear him in the trailer. But the film, that was a good part, it was a fun part, but like the storyline of the film for me felt a lot more exciting than the idea of seeing all these cameos. So that's one of the reasons I was excited. Some people thought we might see Tobey Maguire again and stuff like that, you know. But I feel like the storyline was so good, the character development was so good that even actually overshadowed the cameos, which is what you want, because you had the storyline with Doctor Strange where he was like trying to figure out if he was happy and if he was figure out his relationship with Christine and everything like that. And you had like Wanda obviously with her children and everything, and even America Chavez a little bit with trying to find her parents and everything, you know. Like there was a lot of heart in this film as well.
For sure.
Like it could have easily been just action-packed, crazy effects, which it did have, but it still had time for the dialogue and the heart, and you know, especially with Christine and Doctor Strange, where he was like trying to figure out, like, should I chase what makes me happy? But then there's these consequences because he sees all the other Doctor Strangers and how they wanted to chase what makes them happy, but it turned out it made them turn evil and, you know, like messed them up. And you have to, like, I was trying to figure out the balance of the responsibility of being a hero and, you know, making yourself happy, you know. And it was like there's a lot of deep stuff within all the action and childish stuff, you know, like. And
it wasn't just explosions and fights.
And cameos and nostalgia trips, and I thought that's what it could have been, but they still managed to put a lot of plot in there, and I appreciate that they managed to keep it at that level, you know?
I think with regards to the Illuminati, it was totally wasted on me because obviously I knew who those characters were, but if you're not a fan of the comics or you haven't watched other films, I think that bit was totally wasted on me.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But that doesn't mean to say that I couldn't appreciate
yeah, that's
it,
definitely more for like the comic fans that know all the little characters and
definitely,
everything. Yeah,
for sure.
Especially if you've watched What If, like Captain Carter doesn't even exist in the comics, but they made her in What If. So
because it's another universe.
Yeah, they can play around with that. Yeah,
but that bit was totally wasted on me, and if you're not a comic book fan, it will be totally wasted on you as well. But you still can appreciate it for what it is. It's still a pretty good scene.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I really like Reed Richards.
Yeah, Reed
I
Richards.
just thought like as soon as he came on screen, he just like grabbed your attention straight away. Like he just had that presence.
I was literally.
You know when they talk about actors having presence, he just had this presence where you were just like, I have to watch this person straight away, you know. And I really liked him, and then I felt really sad. I was like, why wasn't he cast the old films?
Original?
You know, the old.
I wonder how old he was back then. Probably a bit too young. I don't know. He might have been the perfect age actually, because I think he was in was it The Office or Community? I think he was in. So yeah, it might have been the right age. But yeah, like it's mad that they cast him. I kind of went, oh shit, when he came up, because I was like, he was like one of the biggest fan castings I think I've ever seen, where everybody agrees he should play Reed Richards, and Marvel actually did it, and it was almost like how Daredevil showed up in, for me anyway, how Daredevil showed up in No Way Home, because it was like, oh, but we've never actually seen him play Reed Richards ever before. That's how big the fan casting was. It feels like he's always been playing him, you know. That's how bad it is. But yeah, it's sick. I hope he comes back.
I'd love to see a film with him.
Yeah, because I know like they are going to make a Fantastic Four film, and I don't know how they're going to cast it, but I'm glad. It looks like it's got to be him from a different universe. They've already established you can have people that look the same from different universes and people that look different with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and stuff. So they can just do whatever they want and just cast John Krasinski as Reed, because he already, in those little short moments, he felt good already, right?
Yeah, it just felt really like, and I was kind of sad. I was like, oh my gosh, why have we not seen a movie with this guy? Like, this guy's wicked. Like, and he just has so much presence that you were just like, I have to watch now. Like,
yeah, that was really, and seeing Professor X come in, like, you won't get this part because I don't think you grew up watching the X-Men cartoons, but
totally
he came in. I only found out this yesterday as well, because he came in with the yellow wheelchair, the green suit, the tie, and all the colours, everything was exactly the same as the animation from the 90s. Probably because I don't know if they're slyly trying to promote the X-Men cartoon. They're bringing back the 90s X-Men cartoon on Disney Plus. And because it never finished, so they're going to try and finish it now.
I think it was like a little
promotion, like literally, because he came in looking exactly how he looks in the cartoon, and they even played the music, like a little. Yeah,
see, that was wasted on me because
if you've watched the X-Men cartoons, it's mad how they just play the music as well. Yeah, it's just that was definitely a nostalgia Easter egg moment for the fans there, but yeah.
When you actually think about it, the concept of different universes existing with a different version of you, like that is such a mind fuck.
I know.
And how everything you dream in your dream is actually real. Yeah. Because like we all have such weird dreams. Like when I think of my dreams, and then I think that might actually be existing in another universe. Put it this way, the concept is actually horrific. Like it's terrifying.
Some Ollies out there going through some mad stuff. Some Ollies out there go through good stuff as well. But
but when you think of like nightmares that you've had in the past, like nightmares that stick with you, like if you go by the concept of the film, that's actually another you going through that shit in another world. Isn't that like the concept of it's actually?
It felt a bit Rick and Morty-ish when they were bouncing through universes.
It did feel like that, yeah.
Like it was kind of cool. I like that feeling. I don't know if one of the writers were involved in Rick and Morty. Apparently, I heard something like that.
And the cinematography of it, like that actual. I think I felt this way when I watched the first one, like the colours and the way everything's moving, and the way they make it almost like magical. Like it's almost like you're watching. Cheesy as it sounds, magic happen. Like because the cinematography, the way it's filmed and the filters that they put on, it's colours. Almost like a bit like mesmerising. It kind of reminds me. Did you ever have those things that you look into as a kid, and it shows all the different
like kaleidoscope?
Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
It's like
it's funny you say that because I think the artist of the original Doctor Strange comics, Jack Kirby, I think it was. all his visuals were always psychedelic and like intense. Like, he probably was smoking a bit of stuff back then. But Doctor Strange's visuals back then were like, I think that's what they're trying to get out in the movies, those crazy colours and visuals.
And they do that so well,
stuff,
because you literally feel like you're inside a kaleidoscope when
yeah,
you're watching the film. Not all of
that
it.
means they did it perfect.
Yeah.
That means they got Jack Kirby's art perfect, because that's what his art was like.
And I'm glad we watched it at the cinema, because I think you can really get that impact
100%.
of being in the cinema.
100%. The only criticism I'll give it though is, talking about magic, is like, sometimes I feel like with Doctor Strange, I think it might be the same in the comics, but he can just, it feels like when he wants to, he can just pull like a spell out of his ass if the writers need it, almost. Like, if he needs to do something, whatever he wants, he just pull it out of his ass, you know? Like,
You mean there's no rules?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the rules are very clearly established. Like, for example, I was talking about Harry Potter with you, wasn't I? In Harry Potter, you know what the rules are, you know what they can and can't do, kind of. They set up, you know, the universe's rules.
But they do have to be careful, because the multiverse is good, but I think it's only going to be good for so long. It could get really confusing.
Well, they're already talking about incursions, and in the comics, when the incursion happens, what they did, because they had so many in the comics, they had so many universes, so many different versions of characters. It got a bit too hard for Marvel to control. It happened with DC as well. They had their own version called Infinite Crisis or Earth or something like that. Earth Infinite Crisis. But anyway, so the incursions event is when all the universes like collide and they just become one universe sort of thing. And there's no other separate universes, no more multiverse basically. And I think because they've been mentioning that in Doctor Strange,
that's where it might be.
That's where it's leading out to, some big battle where all the universes just combine into one and there's no more multiverse. So that's probably when they gets too confusing for them, Marvel will pull that out of their arse and use that, I reckon.
Yeah, to save themselves.
Yeah.
But it could get really confusing, because you're like, which Doctor Strange are we following? Which Wanda are we following? Which and it could get really...
Oh yeah,
and it could
swear,
become
like,
very, very messy, and then things like that aren't fun to watch, because you're like, what the hell's going on now?
Like, I swear in the comics that they're on like the 8th Tony Stark or something. I don't even know which one... Which they're on like different versions of characters. Peter Parker's been rebooted so many times. I don't even know which version of Peter. Is it the same one from the 60s? So they reboot it so many times that you do lose track, and the films are heading in that direction as well. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, look at Wanda now. I think she's dead, because that
was going to be my next question to you. What do you think happened?
Yeah, I think she's dead, and it's looking like, if they want to bring her back, it might be the one we've been watching from that other universe where she's got her kids and she's a good person. Because this Wanda, if she's still alive, she can't be redeemed, I don't think. Like, she's done too much evil. Like Doctor Strange said it, no more lunchboxes for you, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't think she can be redeemed as an Avenger, like a hero that everyone loves.
Not as a
she
hero,
could be an anti-hero,
she could be
maybe.
like... She could just be like a normal person.
Yeah, she'll be like an anti-hero, like, but she won't be like celebrated as an Avenger or something anymore at this point.
I don't think she's dead.
You don't think she's dead?
No, I don't think she's dead. I think she just pulled down the temple and that was it, but I don't think she's dead.
She could have easily made a shield around her.
Yeah, and I think she's so, especially that version of her, is so good to play around with, so good to explore. I don't think they'd kill her off that quickly.
And bring in a version that has everything she wants. Well, we don't know if she has vision, but it looks like she could do.
Yeah.
So someone did like a little analysis, and you could see that version of Thanos didn't have the Mind Stone, so it may be Vision's alive, but they could do whatever they want, really, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess when you create a multiverse, you can do whatever
the hell
anything
you want.
goes.
Like
any
Rick
rules,
and Morty, for example.
Literally Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Let's just finish with the bit at the end with Doctor Strange with
the eye, the
third eye.
The third eye, yeah.
I did read some stuff last night that he's gonna use it for good, like it's gonna. But I don't know how do all of a sudden do you go from being bad, negative to then being good?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Someone had a theory that because
how they're gonna do that.
Like the evil Doctor Strange that he fought had a third eye, and the reason why it corrupted him was because of the Darkhold, and Wanda apparently destroyed all the Darkholds in every universe. Yeah. So because our Doctor Strange, even though he got the third eye, he can't get corrupted because there's no Darkholds that will make him.
But the Darkhold had already touched him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's the thing I don't get, because it's like when he first fell, when he was like in serious pain and he got the third eye, I was like, oh shit, what's this mean? Like, you know?
Yeah, you automatically think, I thought
he's gonna
at
get
this
corrupted.
point, no, I just thought, the wrong Doctor Strange has fallen into the wrong universe, like they've kind of switched places. like they're not in their correct
I
universes. That's what I first thought, and then when you said oh no, it's because of the Darkhold, I said that makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
And then you get that second cutscene where that woman appears, Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh okay.
Yeah, and he brings the eye out, and there's some guitar music plays, and he's like, it looks like he's in full control of it,
literally,
like we've missed the movie or
and
something.
he's like smiling, like this is
I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, is he getting more evil, or is he just controlled it? Like, it made it kind of ruin it, kind of deaded the previous scene because it was like, oh shit, how's he gonna deal with this eye? And all of a sudden, it looks like he's fine in the after credit scene. I'm like, what? But yeah, apparently that I've figured out more stuff about that woman. Charlize Theron is apparently the daughter of Dormammu, who was the villain in the first Doctor Strange movie.
Okay.
And apparently,
is she good or bad?
She's
good, right?
bad at first, but then apparently they get married or something, and she becomes his wife basically. And she becomes a good guy, and she helps Doctor Strange, fight her own father and other enemies and stuff like that. So apparently she's this good guy that she's like a good wizard or witch or whatever, and she helps Doctor Strange out. But she was talking about incursions, which looks like it's going to lead into Secret Wars, which looks mad. And Secret Wars is a storyline about all the heroes. I think it's heroes and villains, and they have to almost pick teams like they're about to play a football match or something, and they have to fight each other on like a battle world or something. When you say it like that, it sounds so stupid and childish.
It literally does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to depict it in a movie where it makes sense. It doesn't feel like a kid's comic book, because that's literally what it sounds like. I mean, it is a kid's comic book, but it's just, how do you make it in a movie that feels like it makes sense in their world, or we're not just fighting each other for fun,
And also, like, do you think Marvel are going to stop, or do you just think they're just going to keep making movies? Do you think this is going to be like, look back in 50 years and we're going to see that Marvel have just
kept going and going? Is it going to be like British soap that goes on forever, like EastEnders?
Yeah, literally, yeah. Is it going to be something like that, or do you think they're going to stop? Like,
well, if they wanted to stop, this Incursions event is the perfect opportunity to do it. Because the whole world's can collide and it just ends the universe like that. But
I feel like they're introducing so many new characters now that I just
could go on forever.
Yeah.
I think what will happen is if when Kevin Feige ever steps down, and someone else takes over, I think that's when they could start thinking about ending or rebooting the MCU, because I don't think anybody has that talent, or it's rare to find someone that has that talent Kevin Feige has to control this. Someone has to be a massive fan, first of all, and he is a big fan of the comics and stuff. You can see it. Yeah. And someone has to have that passion and energy to be able to control this crazy-ass universe. And not many people can do that, because DC tried to do it, and they couldn't find their Kevin Feige, and it just... They've got separate Jokers and separate, basically gone back to how it used to be, DC. So Marvel, that's probably how the MCU will end, when Kevin Feige steps down, I reckon, because I don't think if he ever does. Well, at some point he has to, because he can't do it forever, can he?
I mean, he's quite young. He's not an old.
Yeah,
guy.
Yeah, it'll be a while. I think. I don't think Marvel and Disney are gonna let him go. They're gonna throw billions his way if they have to. But yeah, anyway, the movie was great.
Yeah,
we loved it.
It was a good movie. There wasn't like little shitty comical quips here and there as well, which also added to the darkness of the movie, because it wasn't like they were trying to be funny.
They had a few jokes here and there,
but it didn't feel very forced.
But it wasn't. Yeah,
it felt very like, oh okay.
When they took things seriously, they took things seriously.
Which in some of the old films they don't. It's like quite a serious situation, and somebody will be making a joke about something, and you're like, that's
like there was a bit where Doctor Strange was like floating and he had candles all around him. And it felt a bit, not silly, but it felt like, oh, this is epic. But it feels almost too epic. When everything's ever too epic or too sad or too...
They do something to bring it down. Yeah, with comedy.
Yeah, and I thought Christine was going to... Because she said something, she was about to say something. I think she said... I can't remember what she said. I thought she was going to make a joke. But what she said was like... It was to do with the plot, and it was serious. I thought she was probably going to like... make a joke like, how long are you going to stay up there, or something like that, I was waiting for it, but it didn't happen. I was like, yes, they took it seriously. I was like, yes, it's so good. But I'm so glad they kept the comedy down.
The comedy has its place, but not in something this dark. Like if they'd taken something this dark and tried to put these little quips in here and there, it just would have, the effect would have just pretty much been like Endgame, where it's like quite a serious movie,
and they just start joking around. The only part of Endgame that I loved was obviously Tony Stark's talk with his dad and the final battle. That's about, and maybe Captain America's fight with himself. Those are the best bits of Endgame. The rest of it was like, I wasn't fond of Endgame. But anyway, yeah, great film. I was actually surprised that there was a lot of people talking about how it was a bit middle of the road for them, and some people didn't like it because they didn't like Scarlet Witch being a bad guy and all this kind of stuff, which is interesting. I thought it was sick, very interesting. I'm glad that Marvel had the balls to do that. Sometimes in this day and age, they might be a bit afraid to do that with some of their bigger female characters.
And I'd like to see them do it again.
Definitely.
You know, push again to make things darker and creepier.
But yeah, I'd definitely give it like an 8 out of 10.
Still give it a 6.
6, 7, or whatever it is. But anyway, that's our review of Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. If you liked it, please give us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notifications, and we'll see you again.
Thanks for listening to our waffle.